Bidvest is an investment holding company with subsidiaries operating in services, trading and distribution. The company has a market cap of 69 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 14.7 and a dividend yield of 3%. Mr. Joffe and the Bidvest team have proved themselves over and over again in terms of delivering value. Can they continue doing so? Jean-Pierre.
Well, they're trying their best, and so far you can see in the share price that they have been delivering. And although this is a company with its roots firmly in South Africa, most of the earnings today actually come from abroad. So they're diversified through their food services business primarily into other jurisdictions like the UK, Europe and East Asia. And that is the growth spurt for Bidvest. More than 100,000 employees worldwide, most of that in South Africa, but today it's actually a global company.
Well, that's the reality here, Craig, that Bidvest is a global company. We see the share price graph doing incredibly well. I'm going to put the same question that I put to Jean-Pierre. Can they continue to deliver given their global expansion?
I think they can, in the sense that Brian Joffe, or the jockey as they sometimes call him, is very hands-on, and he makes sure that all his divisions are pretty hands-on. But they're working on very tight operating margins, 5.2% 2012, 5.1% last year. So that doesn't leave too much room. And if you think of the food services division, which Jean-Pierre mentioned, it had 18.6% growth, but it's mainly on the back of a weaker rand. We're now sitting in a situation where the rand's looking pretty strong, especially in expectation of the US dollar weakening further. So that could maybe play negatively for them going forward. To a large degree, perhaps it's a bit of a broad statement, I think Bidvest is largely a GDP play, and growth in South Africa is expected to decline, and growth in Europe is on the decline. So from that point of view, in the short term, maybe I wouldn't be too optimistic.
But you've also got geographic diversity, given their foray into Asia, as you alluded to earlier, Jean-Pierre.
Yes, definitely. And that's obviously the new growth region where a lot of growth will come from, with the Asian consumer having more money to spend. Bidvest distributes product into that market where they cater to the taste of the Western traveller that might stay at a hotel, for instance, in China, and still wants to eat his Western food rather than the Asian food. And they'll benefit from that trend, from more business being done into China. And I think also that even though it's diversified across the world, the fact that you have a strong management ethos, a strong return on funds employed management incentive scheme that Brian Joffe has implemented in Bidvest, that means that it's not that reliant on him as an individual, but rather this system of focusing on the returns of the business means that it can grow very large without the reliance on just one individual.
And that obviously, Jean-Pierre, brings us to a key point, Craig, in that Bidvest is now beyond Brian Joffe. Do you firmly believe that that is the reality?
No, look, absolutely. So I think it's diversified. There's strong management at all levels, but that's part of what perhaps doesn't appeal to me, in this, that it's such a diversified. You've got your automotive, your office, your food services, etc. And as a result, I'd rather decide what sectors I want to be in and follow it, because there are going to be times where one part of the business is doing exceptionally well, and times where the other's in decline, because some of, like automotive, is slightly cyclical. So there are quite a lot of factors, and although it might look like fair value at the moment, that's probably one of the reasons that I would take a back step on the share.
Hot or not, Jean-Pierre, on Bidvest?
We still like it. We think there's corporate action coming with the international food services business that will probably be split from the rest of the group. There's probably another big acquisition before that happens. So we think there's some value here. We think it's hot.
And Craig, do I need to even ask you, hot or not on Bidvest?
No, well, look, I mean, the sum of the parts is quite true. There's a lot of value that could be unlocked, but for some reason, I'm also going to go not hot.